There we go. Okay, we are live. Hello, everyone. How are we this evening? It is January 30th, which is our live discussion, the first live discussion for for 2024. I'm excited. I don't know about you, Laura, but can you believe this is year 3 of the book club?
It seems really odd.
Yeah. So far we have read, what is it, 22 books together?
I think
in the
so,
book club? That's insane.
So.
How does this happen? I feel like we're still in year 1, but we are embarking on year 3 of DoubleBookedCo's book club.
And it has been ages, at least for me personally, since I've been able to keep up with a book club. It helps that I have to be here and read the books. But still, that was didn't mean anything before. I've been in lots of them the last maybe 6 or 7 years. And even if I was in charge, I just spaced and didn't do stuff. So yeah, this is nice to stick with something and have everybody here joining us and have a nice discussion all the time.
Yes, absolutely. I have done a different online book club and very sporadic. Sometimes I was literally the only one there. So this, giving my thoughts, moderating to nobody in particular. So it's been a blessing to come to DoubleBookedCo's book club and actually have people on the other end saying hello. Looks like we have Cool Gamer here. So hello, nice to see you again. And many more will trickle in as we continue here. But it's amazing to know this is year 3. It's just crazy. So I'm excited. I think the biggest part is just reading books that I don't think I would pick on my own. And I really enjoy hearing other people's thoughts, whether that be here in the discussion or in Voxer or on any of our posts. But I'm excited. So speaking of that, what are we going to be reading in February?
Yeah, it was very close. I think it was one book that tipped it over, but we are going to be reading The Stranger Diaries by Ellie Griffiths. So this was originally a standalone. Now it is the start of a series. Sorry. But loosely, this lady is a teacher that specializes in this Gothic writer who's not really real, but this writer. And then one of her colleagues shows up dead, and it mimics this guy's favorite story, or this most well-known story. So this woman, to clear herself, as she's the expert in this writer and knows the story so well and everything, she has to investigate if that was a real story or not, and then also who murdered her colleague. So it should be pretty tense, I think. And it's roughly 340 pages, so not too bad.
Awesome. I love the cover. I'm a big cover buy kind of person, so the cover is very intriguing to me. And as you can see on the banner, the reading sprints will be next week, Tuesday. So 1 week from now, which will be February 6th at 8:30 Central Time. So if you're interested in reading along with us, you can certainly join us. You do not have to read that book. You can do whatever you would like to do during the sprints. But traditionally, that's when Laura and I will start that particular book. And then also on that day, so we have our new product release for our Etsy shop at 8 p.m. And then we'll do the reading sprints at 8:30. We will give all the choices for March's books or read during those live streams.
Yeah. And they're all middle grade for March.
Yes,
so
middle grade March. But don't think they're going to be short, because I think we got some big ones in there. So
we do. We for sure have one big one. Yeah.
Yeah. Looks like Andy is here. Hello. We almost needed a tiebreaker, Andy. I saw your comment on the poll, but it looks like The Stranger Diaries got a little bit ahead. So whoever was a tiebreaker, good for you. Okay. So this evening we are going to be discussing the January book that we read, which was James Clear's Atomic Habits. For many of you, this is a book you've seen before. It's been on the bestsellers list. He does a lot of talks. From what I have seen, it's very popular. If you're in our Voxer group, I did create a little book club sheet thing that has all of the topics that we'll discuss this evening. So if you wanted to utilize that, you definitely have that available to you. It's through Canva. You do not need a subscription to access it. You should be able to print it, no problem. But if you need that, if you're not in the Voxer group and you would like a copy of this worksheet, you can certainly put your email address in the comments, either in the live stream or on a replay, and I will email you a link to that. No problem. I think I'm going to do this for each book throughout the year, so that if you'd like to utilize it before the live stream, to know kind of like what we're going to be discussing, you can. So you'll see that maybe like a week before I'll drop it in the Voxer group. So if you're not in the Voxer group, make sure that you let me know and I will drop you into the Voxer group as well. So let's get right on into it. We usually always rate our books, and I know with nonfiction we discuss how can you really rate nonfiction, but because I'm on Goodreads, I always rate them. So as far as a rating, Laura, if you were to rate this book, what would your rating be? 1 out of 5, 5 being amazing.
Yeah, I gave it 4, and I was surprised I gave it a 4, quite honestly. I think it's something just generally that I can very well see myself going back to as a reference or like a boost for a long, long time. Like, as long as I'm trying to improve myself and change habits, like this seems like pretty basic, but also like, you know how you just have blind spots to really obvious stuff sometimes? Like, this feels like a really good, like, blind spot breaker. So yeah, I gave it a surprising 4. What did you think?
I completely agree with everything you just said. I did also give it a 4, and the reason being is I've read other like self-help or goal-setting books before, and comparing them to this one, I liked this one more than those that I've read in the past. For that same reason you mentioned, it was accessible. It felt like something that was something that I would be able to come back to. It was like timeless, where I didn't feel like I was being preached at, more so being able to give tips on things that I'm already doing. And the thing that I don't like about self-help sometimes is it becomes very much about the writer and their like story and like all about them and what worked for them. And I think what Clear was really good about was he was just very straightforward in just speaking on the topic, and providing strategies to enhance your own life through these small changes. So like I said before, like, because it was so accessible to me, I felt like it was achievable. Like at the end of this book, I'm like, okay, I think I'm actually gonna be able to do some of these things. And while reading, I started to try to implement some of the things already in my day. And anytime I did it, I felt really good at the end of the day. And I've never really read any other self-help where I've actually implemented any of their strategies and even remembered what those strategies were. So I felt like it was a nice topic that, like you said, you can come back to. And that's why half of me was like really happy I had this worksheet, because I'm like, oh, I'm going to save this because I'll look at it and I'll see what I wrote and I'll remind myself why I liked it and, why I need to continue to do it that way. Real roundabout way of saying I gave it 4 stars. Let us know in the comments what you rated the book. And if you're watching in replay, let us know in the comments as well. looks like Andy gave it a 3.5 years ago 25 years ago would have been helpful. Now I felt like I could give all this advice. Yeah. And that's really interesting too. When you say I felt like I could give all this advice, and I think Laura, you had mentioned it before we went live, but like all this seemed so obvious. Like all these little things you're like, duh, like I should do that, or I could do that, or why don't I think of that? And I think that's just the point, is it is obvious, but why do we neglect it, or why do we like get distracted or completely ignore it? You know, because a lot of the stuff, like especially in the very first like portion, which is like the first law, which is literally make it obvious. Like the entire time he was talking in that section, I was just like, this is all duh stuff. Like it's just like, I just want to say duh, duh, duh. But then in my head, I'm like, but you're not doing it. So yeah, definitely stuff I wish I would continue to tell myself. But okay. So kind of because I talk too much, I've been already doing this, but like what are your overall thoughts? You know, maybe not specific to each section, but overall, what are your thoughts on the message that you got from the book?
Yeah, like I said, I really like it. It does seem extremely obvious. All the stuff is very basic, but that's also why it's accessible. And I think why I was trying to like put some words in my brain and I couldn't before, but then I listened to Allie talk on Voxer, and she said that she liked some of the examples and they were quantitative, not qualitative. And I thought that's a really good way of putting it, because yeah, it's not huge deep dives into all these reasons why the stuff works. It's a very brief, like there was a study, or there was a guy, or I tried this thing. And it's like usually a few sentences or a paragraph. There are graphs, of course, thrown in here and stuff too, which is nice to see, like, oh, a bell curve or whatever. But I did like that it was not really deep in a lot of ways, so it is more accessible, and it was a quicker read. Not that I wouldn't appreciate, and I don't appreciate deep dives into things. I usually like that stuff very much, but for something like this, especially with this, little tiny things to do, I appreciated that there were lots of short, brief, but effective notes about why this works or why this doesn't, or so-and-so tried this or whatever. The thing I think I found most, I don't know, impactful, if that's the right word or not, and I am not a sports person, so I'm going to get all these words wrong, but talking about the basketball team and like the Lakers or whatever, and how they improved just like not even a percent over each practice. Was it each practice or each game? I forget which it was, but like how they could just see the little incremental improvements, and then they like won the next year or something, and they had been previously really sucking hard. So I really appreciated that, especially, even though, because I'm not a sports person, as I went by my words just now. But yeah, I really did like it. And when I wasn't doing this, when I was just like sitting there on the side, I did go through and flip to the beginning a few more times and reread like chapter reviews and things. And I thought I would do that in the future, but not like current reading, not right now, not when I still hadn't finished it yet. I was surprised I did go back and refresh myself on these things. So yeah, I'm surprised. I mean, I know it's been on the bestseller list since like 2018 or something crazy, but I'm surprised that I liked it this much and that it was this accessible and it wasn't too dude bro-y, which is what I totally thought it was going to be. So yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I liked that all of the examples, they were kind of different throughout, but they are also relatable. Like there were certain parts that he would talk about certain things that have happened or things that he did, and I was like, oh, I could see myself doing that, or I think about an instance where it has happened to me in the past. So I like that he was relatable. It was really easy to follow. I liked the chapter. Like, I liked that he reviewed each chapter at the end. And it was, he kind of compounded. So he like took stuff from the previous chapter and mentioned it and then kept going. And like I said before, like all the duh stuff, it made it feel like I could do some of it. Especially in my life where everything is happening simultaneously, a million things, multitasking, all of that. And like I said, I've already kind of started to implement a few things that I've kind of thought about because of the book. So it's already made me feel better about my situation, because I think when you're trying to build habits, you're trying to build goals, you're trying to do the right thing and nothing works, that you just go, well, nothing works, so I'm not going to do anything. That's kind of how I get. Like, I go, oh, well, it's not going to work, so I'm not even going to try. So I like that as we get into this first or second area, like doing small things and then like stacking those things, you actually accomplish more, even though they're really small things. So I liked that. I liked that a lot. And I found it really interesting. There is a line he mentions, and I can't remember where he mentions it, but I wrote it down, and it says, keep your identity small because you need to be able to adapt, essentially. So I don't remember. I think he was quoting somebody that said, you need to keep your identity small, because like some of the examples he uses, like if you're a CEO of a company and you only consider yourself a CEO, then you can't be anything else. So you can't change and adapt. So that really made me think, not so much that I think my identity is large, but just always adapting. And for me, I have to adapt every single day, because every single day is different in my house. So I have to be able to say, like, okay, maybe I didn't do these habit changing things today, but I did them the day before and it made that day super awesome. So today wasn't as great, but I can do certain things tomorrow, so I just don't want to end up back where I was just going, oh, well, too bad. It's not, none of it's going to work. So I just don't have to do any of it. So yeah. So I like that there was a lot of things that I was able to pull out of each chapter and like align it with my own life and how I can adjust by doing small things, because big things are just too much for me right now. Like big things just don't work. So yeah. So speaking of, these laws, let's jump into the first law. And the first law was make it obvious. And we can kind of dive a little bit farther in and ask ourselves, what stood out to us in that section. Did anything about that first law, which is make it obvious, like were there any thoughts that you had on that section?
Not really. I think at that point I was still like, well, duh, because it's all about making things obvious. So he was talking obviously about obvious things. So I really wasn't thinking too much at that point, if that makes sense,
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have a lot to say about the first part. What about you?
I feel like that was pretty strategic too, making that the first law, making it obvious, because a lot of this is pretty obvious. And I think that did a nice job of making the readers feel like, okay, this is going to be okay. Like, I'm not dumb. I can do this. The one thing that really stood out to me was the habit stacking that he refers to, which for me, I think is a game changer, because he says to write down all of your habits, which I'm sorry, I'm not writing down all my habits. That's going to take too long. And then what you're supposed to do is on that, you're supposed to then connect another habit so that you're adding more good habits or whatever. I can't write them all down. But I know that when I do something in real time, I can say, oh, I'm going to do this too. So just in real time doing it. So I liked that a lot. And that's a lot of what I've been implementing, like in my own head, I've done this for years, but I always in my own head will say, work smarter, not harder. So now what I've been doing is like, as a mantra in my head, I keep saying that. So like if I walk upstairs, I won't come downstairs unless I have something with me. So laundry needs to come downstairs. Even though I'm not doing the laundry right now, I'm going to bring it downstairs so that it's downstairs. Or when I go back upstairs, I don't go empty-handed, essentially. Mm-hmm. So like I'm always like, the habit is I'm going upstairs, like to the bathroom. I have to go upstairs to the bathroom. So on both trips, I will do something up there and bring down something so that it's like attached, if that makes any sense. Mm-hmm. Because it's obvious, but it has made my life so much easier the last couple of days that I've been like implementing it. Yeah. Anytime I go upstairs, I look around like what needs to go upstairs, bring it up with me. Mm-hmm. When I'm up there, I will, do something. Like the other day, I cleaned my bathroom like in 5 different sessions because I was upstairs. So I went to the bathroom. I was like, okay, I'm going to put the stuff in the toilet. Then I came downstairs. Then when I went back up there, I cleaned the toilet, so it was like those kind of things. Again, obvious, but like to someone with me, like me, who like, it's all or nothing. Like, no, I don't have time to clean the bathroom right now. The bathroom would have gotten clean. But because I did it in steps and like did it while I had the moment, and it didn't get all done at once, but it got done by the end of the day. It was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, I just, the habit stacking, just linking new habits to the ones that I already have. I think that for me is going to be a big deal. So yeah, let's move on to the second law, which is make it attractive. And if you saw or recognize any of it in yourself in this section.
I don't remember.
That's okay. The biggest thing I think from this section was creating a motivation ritual. So like if you have to do something but you don't like it, you create a habit to do before you have to perform that thing. So say, for instance, you really don't like doing dishes, right? So before you do dishes, you maybe you light a candle and put on some soft music that you like or something. So you create that habit on top of, now I have to do the dishes. So then you have like a positive attitude going into doing something that you don't like. Mm-hmm. So you make it attractive, essentially. I don't know how well that will work for me because I'm still thinking about how much I hate doing the act of whatever I don't like doing.
Yeah.
But I know if I want to change that, I need to do it because, like I've been saying, if I don't like something, I just don't do it. I mean, eventually we'll do the dishes, but I mean, they'll sit there until I'm really like, shit, I need to do the dishes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I understand that. Yeah. Currently, I have no dishes in my house that are dirty. I mean, they're all done right now.
Yeah.
And I ran a load in the dishwasher, which I have a dishwasher now. I love it so much. It's my favorite thing. So I was running a load and I had to cook this afternoon too. So I just washed everything that I used to cook stuff. And oh, I forgot I had a extra coffee mug in here that I just like didn't see in the chaos. Like, okay, I'll wash that. It's easy. And I just walked around and just grabbed everything, and it was all done. Like by 7:00, I thought, holy crap, I don't have dishes to do. Like,
yep.
Yeah. And I do try to bribe myself sometimes with music. That seems to be the thing that works for me. But then I just get sucked into music and I don't end up doing the thing that I'm trying to make myself do. I'm just like jamming to Belle of DeVoe for far too long. Like I just, whatever. Yeah. I've noticed for myself that because, I'm a planner, I am very much a planner person. If I can mark it down or write it down and use a sticker in my planner, that is extremely motivating for me. I am a child. So if I get stuff ready to go and I'm like catching up on my day in my planner and putting my stickers down, and I want to put down like doing the dishes, and I want to use a cute dishes sticker, this is so lame, I used to just mark down the dishes, and then I wouldn't do it because I had the satisfaction of like having it in there already. So now I pull it out, and like the ones I want to use, I leave them sit there, and that motivates me, sadly, to go and wash my dishes. So when I'm done with that, I do them as fast as I can, get them all ready to go, and then I can come on, like I can mark it off right away and like really use that dishes sticker because I am a lame person. So like that, it does work sometimes.
Yeah.
Mostly sticker.
We have so many dishes. Obviously, we're a family of 5.
Yeah.
I cook every day, like breakfast, lunch, dinner. There's always dishes. There's no motivation for me to do dishes other than they need to get done. I will say one of my motivating factors is to not let my husband do the dishes because he will be in there for like 4 hours doing dishes because he has this whole thing where he'll like turn a movie on and then like he starts and it's like an hour goes by and I go in there and I think that like, oh, at least half of the dishes will be done because it's been an hour and there will be like 4 dishes done and he's just standing there eating something, watching the movie. And I just, the first thing that happens is I laugh out loud because I'm like, you've been here for an hour. There are 4 dishes done. The sink does not have any dishes in it. It just has standing soapy water. And then all the dishes are still everywhere. So motivating to me is the fact that I know I can get the dishes done in like 25 minutes. You just do it. Right. You just do it. And I'm really weird. Like some people, they're like, oh, I play music while I do dishes, or like my husband, they put a movie on or whatever. I need straight silence. Like I need to be able to like focus on dishes. And I'm very much like I section everything up. So I have all the kids stuff, and then I have all the pots and pans, and I have all the like flat stuff that has to like lay against the wall. Right. And then I have all the silverware, and like, so I'm very like, I have to do it in shifts. So that to me is the only like satisfying thing is when it all works out and it like, it's like Tetris on my counter to like make sure that it all stays there. So yeah, I think that's my biggest motivator is not allowing my husband to do that, because sometimes he'll just like go in there and I'll be like, what are you doing? And he's like, I'm going to do the dishes. And I'm like, oh, I was just about to go in there and do that. Like, because he tries to be helpful, and it drives me nuts because he's like, what does it matter to you if it takes me however long? I'm like, because it's annoying that you're in there doing nothing, just pretending to do the dishes. Like, come and sit with these babies and I'll go do the dishes.
Right.
So, yeah. I'm sorry. I'm totally ignoring you, Debbie. Hi, Debbie.
Hi.
Not lame. Not lame.
I am a child.
Not lame. Okay, let's move on to the third law, which is make it easy. And thoughts on your own habits in this section?
Not terribly, but this is related to this, and also sort of the first law too. I don't know if any of you guys watch Clutterbug on YouTube, but I love Cass. She's like organizing, decluttering, all this stuff. She had a video today. It was pretty short, but it was all about like why your home is always messy and how it's not really your fault. And there were 3 things, and it was like, I forget the first one, which is really great example, Laura. And then it was like, you are trying to be perfect and you have too much stuff. So the whole point of the video was just do a crappy job. Like, good enough is good enough. You know, like you were saying earlier about every time you go upstairs, you cleaned your whole bathroom today in stages. Do the same thing. Like, just clean your toilet. It doesn't have to be the cleanest toilet in the universe. You have to like frantically scrub under every single thing. If you miss a spot, it's okay. It's still mostly clean and it's better than it was. And that on top of, I finished like the last 20 pages of this today too. I was like, oh yeah, I don't have to be perfect. I can just do a half-ass job or a quarter-ass job of some things, and it's okay. And just being easier on myself instead of having it have to be perfect all the time, which is great because my house is filled with half-starter projects because I get interrupted or something happens or I have to leave for work or anything at all. I saw a squirrel. And then it just sits there for months or years because I just never have the time to get back to it, because then I catch myself and think, I have to do this perfectly. I only want to do it one time. So I'm going to wait for this mythical time when the stars align and I have the energy and the time to devote to all this. Like, no, just do it. Just make it easy. Stop trying to be perfect. Just like do it. Quarter-assing is okay, which I don't think he says in the book, but I feel like
your interpretation.
Yeah, like it's okay. Like that, if that makes it easy enough and it's good enough and it's like out of sight, that's probably all right. You know?
Yeah, no, I totally agree, because I've always been like all or nothing. Like if I can't get it all, then I don't want to do it at all. Like it has to all get done. Or if it takes too long, I don't want to do it, like because I'm not going to be able to finish it all. So if I can't finish it, I don't want to start it. Totally get that. Absolutely. I really liked like his 2-minute rule kind of thing. Like just do it for 2 minutes and then be done with it. Just walk away. Even the part, and it's funny because I'm at the gym while I'm listening to this book, and he gives the example about like, if you're trying to go to the gym more, then make it a habit to go to the gym and just go in for 5 minutes and then be done. And I was like, who the hell is going to be like that? To me, it takes me longer to get to the gym than to go to the gym for 5 minutes, 5 minutes. But then after he gave the example and I was like, laughing at it in my head, I was like, you know what? That is so true, because if you go and you commit to yourself, like, I'm only going to walk in for 5 minutes. I'm only going to walk in for 5 minutes. You will stay longer, because you're going to be like, okay, that wasn't enough. I can stay for 10 more minutes, or I can stay for 20 more minutes. Or for me, I joined a gym so the gym that I used to go to, this is like totally off topic, but the gym I used to go to closed. It's no longer there. So I had to join a new gym, and it's Planet Fitness. Everyone knows Planet Fitness, but I haven't been a member at Planet Fitness since college. So like 15 years ago, and it's totally different than it used to be, believe it or not. So when I go in there, there's this room where it's a 30-minute workout. And the first couple times that I went, I was like, I don't know what that room is. And I'm not going to ask about it because I'm no idiot. At least I don't want anyone to think I'm an idiot. So I'm just going to look at it from afar for a couple of times. And as I'm reading this book, I'm just like, maybe I should ask somebody about this room because it looks interesting and I'd like to know what it is. And a 30-minute workout to me, because I'm on a very short schedule, like I can't be here all day. Like I have to get back to my kids. Like, it's just not feasible for me to just come here and wander around and be like, oh, I'll do this for this long, or I'll do this for this long. But if this is a room that's going to help me do something in 30 minutes, like, let's do it. So I go up and ask, and the guy was super nice, which is nice about it because, it's a no judgment zone. And he told me, and it literally is a room where they have all of these machines, and it's like a circuit. So you go on machine, and because the lights kept flashing, so they'd be green and then they'd be red. And what it is you do the machine until the light turns red, and then you clean it up, and then there's these steppers in the middle, and then you go do the steppers, and you can do different things on there, and then when it turns red, then you switch. So you just keep switching, and you can get around the whole room and all these steppers. It's 20 different things in 30 minutes. Nice. And the reason why I'm telling this story is because now I've created a habit that when I go to the gym, I'm going to use that room, because at least I will know, depending on how I feel and how long I have, I will do at least a 30-minute workout that will include weight training, which is essential to losing weight because you need to build your muscle mass. So I'm like, this is perfect because it utilizes both leg and arm machines. And there is a little bit of a cardio, because if you do the steps, which some old lady that was there told me that no one does the steps, but I do them because I want a true 30-minute workout. So I do those, and that's like cardio, because I do like calf raises, some I do like knee whatever, and then some I just like run really fast on it. So that's cardio. And then if I know that I have a good amount of time, I will go and do an elliptical or the stair stepper or a treadmill. So it's perfect. So by me asking and by me saying in my head, like every time I go, I'm going to go in that room. It's perfect. I know that I at least get a 30-minute workout.
Yeah, and that's easy. The thought process there is just you walk in, you just start and go. Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Now, the only thing that sucks about that room is there are a lot of people that use it incorrectly. Like you're supposed to go the same direction so that you could start any machine, but you're like always going clockwise. So like if there's someone behind you, you're not gonna like all of a sudden be on a machine together. But what happens is there's all these people that like to go in there because they don't want to be around all the other people. So they just come in and use like one machine, and you're like, oh, I need that machine next. And this person just randomly walks in, and that's the only machine they're using. And then they just use it forever instead of like the whole.
That's annoying.
Yes, it's so annoying. Ugh. So like sometimes I have to like zigzag, but it's only happened like twice where I've had to like figure out a different, because again, easy. I just want to get around this room without thought. I just want to be able to do it. But then when all these people get in there and they're not using it correctly, then I have to like strategize how I'm going to figure out how to get to all the machines. And not forgetting which ones I've been on. So, anywho, making it easy is easy to do, but also you gotta put a little bit of thought in there. Andy says the key to the exercise thing is finding what you love to do. I love mountain hiking and machine Pilates. Was addicted till too sick to do it. Try everything till you love something. I don't love any of it. I don't love working out at all. I don't hate it, but it's not my favorite thing to do. I do it because I know I have to if I want to find myself back into a body that I used to have before I had kids. But I think what I like, I won't use the word love. I think what I like about this room is that you take the thinking right out of it. You said it nail on the head, Laura. You take the thinking right out of it. Because what I was doing previous to finding that room is like, I would go, okay, like, I think I'll go on this machine and I'll do like, I guess 3 reps of 12. And then, and it's like, okay. And I don't like, do I do legs too? Do I only do arms? But when I go in this room, I just do the circuit and I'm done. So that's what I like about it, is I don't have to think at all. I know what I'm doing is good. I know that basically I just have to get the right weight, so that it, feels like I'm doing something. But other than that, I just do it. So
I know I really want to try Pilates. I think I would really like it a lot, but I feel like I'm way too out of shape to even start that right now. So I do like water aerobics a lot. Like and if I know Tuesday mornings at the gym I belong to, I pay for that, but I don't go to anymore. That Tuesday is like the easy day for everyone. If you've got injuries, if you have like RA, if you're older, it's like a very low impact one, but it's still a full body workout. Like I know when you do that for a few times before I would start doing regular water aerobics and maybe moving to Pilates. But one thing I loved, I did for years, and then I couldn't find classes for, is like a slower yoga. Is I want to be able to, because I'm creaky and I'm heavy and my boobs choke me in like half the positions where you're like on your back or like bent over, whatever. I need time to be able to like settle into something and then like adjust things so I can breathe and then still get the benefit of like the stretch and the hold and everything. And I just have not been able to find a place that does that, which is so frustrating. Everything is like hot yoga or like super fast yoga or something else. And it's like, no, I just want a slower thing so I can settle into things and not kill myself and breathe. But yeah, I used to do it all the time. It was really easy. My neighbors and I went for like 3 years. It was really nice. But yeah, make it easy. Like find the thing you love, or like you said, like thinking required, that's doable, that you don't totally despise, and then it becomes so much easier. You gotta try everything though. It's just
yeah.
Yeah,
Andy, I think you're talking about curves.
Yeah, I used to do
my mom did curves for a long while.
Yeah,
Years ago, like 25 years ago. I remember she was part of, I think it was called TOPS. It was an acronym, but it was through curves, and then she was like the treasurer of TOPS. There you go.
Nice.
Maybe you guys need to have a little chit chat later on.
That will be nice.
What I really liked, I'm not going to use the word love because I do not love working out, but what I really liked was Zumba. But it was the specific trainer because she used like popular music. So it was not like, I feel like some Zumba music is way too Latin for me. And I just am like, it's too samey all the time. But with this particular trainer, it was all like today's music. So I really enjoyed that. And then COVID happened. And so you'd stop. We had to all stop. And then since then I haven't been back to that gym. And then now the gym is closed. So, but I do remember I really did like that because again, you didn't have to think, you just showed up and you did the same thing. Sometimes she would change up the songs, but normally I knew all the moves. So it just felt good to be like, I know everything. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Richard effing Simmons. My mom had the Sweat Into the Oldies, 4 different tapes, and us kids would play those VHSs over and over again, and we would dance with Richard Simmons and all of those regular looking people, which was amazing. Even as a kid, it felt good to like see regular people on his videos. I loved Sweat Into the Oldies. I love Richard Simmons. If you haven't watched the documentary that was released, like, I don't know, a year or so ago about like where he is now, definitely watch it because it's really interesting.
Yeah. And I did jazzercise back in the day too. My friend and I were in middle school and high school, and we signed up for jazzercise, and it was the two of us and then like 30 and 40-year-olds. But we had such a good time. Like, it was really fun.
I love music. And I think you have a YouTuber that you watch that does like music, dancing, working out. I can't remember. I always ask you for his channel.
Yeah, the Fitness Marshall.
Yes, Fitness Marshall. That's always super fun.
Yeah.
I did wonder about chair yogas. What are you talking about so far? I checked out the DVD from the library. Unfortunately, not cargo. I remember like on was it PBS? There would be ladies sitting on the chairs, and they'd have the full like
Sit and Be Fit.
Yeah.
My mom does that sometimes still. And there is a chair yoga that I can do, but I like being able to get, not that I can do it now since I'm so heavy, it would hurt my knees a lot more than it used to, but doing downward dog and be able to really like lean in and stretch, like really get into it and not just like pop up suddenly and then you're doing the sun salutation and back down again. Like, I get so dizzy and motion sick. I would just have to stop sometimes and just stand there and just do deep breathing. And teachers are always like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I can't go up and down that fast. I'm going to vomit. Like, I just can't. Yeah. Like, I'm cool. Just let me just stand here. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, so we digress. Anywho. So as far as that third law, making it easy, I really like the 2-minute rule. I like that he used a reading analogy because I was like, yay for all of us readers. Because I thought that too, like, I'm not going to just read one page, but I'm like, okay, I get it. It's just the fact of making a habit. Crack open that book, read one page, and as most of us will do, we will read more than one page. But at least it's getting that habit. And maybe one of the nights you only have time to read one page. I know my mom for a long time, she always committed herself to reading one chapter before bed. I know she kind of got out of that habit a little bit, but like, it's still that habit, and maybe when you think about it and you're like, okay, so I've gotten out of habit, maybe I don't read one chapter, maybe I read one page, maybe I read 2 pages, one paragraph, something like that. So Let's move on to the fourth and final law, which is make it satisfying. And then additionally, kind of question there, how will you make it last? Anything stand out in this one? This was probably, for me, the least, like, what word am I looking for? It was like the least informational section for me. I didn't really connect to this one as much, which is silly because all of these sections are really, I'm talking about how it's satisfying to me to get things done. But in this particular section, I was just kind of like, okay, I don't really relate to these things. How about you?
The thing I liked the most about this chunk was that it made me feel like reframe the, like, I already made one mistake, screw it. Like, I'm just, like, the rest of the day is shot or whatever it is. Like, if you're on a diet, like, oh, well, I forgot to use fat-free creamer, so I guess that's it for the day. I'm going to go to McDonald's for lunch then. Like, no, like, you skip one and that's fine, but don't skip two. Like, just get back on the horse. And have to go over it quite a few times, which, again, very, very simple and very obvious. But it sort of short-circuited for me, like, thinking about my own life and how many times I have screwed something up. And then I just beat myself up. And I'm so mean to myself internally that, like, I don't try again for weeks, you know. So, like, it helped to go, wait a second, no, just, you're just a human being and you just, like, made a mistake or didn't complete whatever it is. And that's fine. Just try again the next time. Like, don't make stopping a habit. So, yeah, just rereading that was helpful to kind of stop that spiral for me.
Yeah, that I think it's just never miss twice. Which, yeah. For me, I've never had success with the whole accountability partner thing. Like his whole example where the guy like wrote a contract out and was like, oh, I'll pay you this much. And I was thinking, well, it must be nice to have money to be just like thrown out to people if you mess up, which I know everyone's different. Whatever, one person's contract would be different than another person's. But honestly, for me, in my entire life, anytime I've had an accountability partner, it has never worked because my accountability partner has always been the same exact person that I am. And we just go, do you want to quit together? And we just do. Like, I've never had an accountability partner that has like held me accountable. So I'm just picking the wrong partners. So that one just I didn't relate to at all. And so for me to make it satisfying, it just goes back to the other three laws because a lot of what happens within those laws are satisfying to me. So I can kind of double down on that rather than, I don't know, like the reinforcement and motivation kind of stuff, you know. But I did like you mentioned, the never miss twice. I did find that agreeable because it is like, just because you missed once doesn't mean you just stop. Because that's what I used to do. It'd be like, oh, well, fuck it. Excuse my language.
Yeah.
So, yeah, totally makes sense. Looks like, oh, Mary's here. Hi, Mary. We do remember you, of course. We never forget.
No.
Such a beautiful person. Yes, one good choice at a time. Do not beat yourself up as you would. Oh, it's hard, friend. Yeah. I'm not a very good accountability partner either, though, because I'd be like, are you sure? And they'd be like, yes. I'd be like, okay. If you're sure.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, too, like, I think, and I don't know, like, I feel like if someone would hold me accountable, I would be like, okay, thank you. But in my head, when I think of that other person, if I were to hold them accountable, I feel like they'd be like, she's so mean. So I'm always just like, okay, well, if you feel that way, I guess you should stop.
Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking like, they're like, why is she being like this? I didn't ask for an accountability partner to be like this. So I remember years and years and years ago, I used to be a smoker, and one of the times that I was trying to quit, which didn't work because my accountability partner sucked.
Mm-hmm.
But we were going to pay each other. So if we saw each other, if we smoked, we would have to pay the other person $1. And in a pack of cigarettes, I think it's like, I can't remember anymore, but maybe 30 cigarettes or something else. So it's like $30. You could like legit like, and for me, I wasn't smoking that much, but she was smoking like 2 packs a day. And I was like, I could get $60.
Right.
Well, you know, she lied and all these things. And so it didn't work. But that's an example, is all I'm trying to say. It's an example of one, something to do if you're trying to quit smoking. But two, I'm a lousy accountability partner. Okay. So moving on from the 4 laws, what do you think you'll be implementing from the Atomic Habits? Did anything stick out to you that you're firmly thinking like, yes, I'm going to definitely be doing this moving forward? This is how this book helped me. What are your thoughts?
I know I'll be using lots of this, but I'm not sure how yet exactly, because I want to go through and like re-skim the book again. I know we're talking about now, this is very helpful, but really go through and reread again and go, oh yeah, I wanted to try this. I wanted to try writing down like what I do in a typical day, like a day I work outside the house, a day that I am home all day. Like I want to make those lists for myself, because I'm really not aware, I think, of how much I am both doing and then also not doing. And then see what I can sneak around. So I want to take a little time to, like I said, write those 2 different days up and see how I can make little improvements. I saw my therapist yesterday, and she reminded me of something that I keep forgetting about. Like, schedules are really important to me. They really help me focus. And especially as someone who is a sensitive person, I can get thrown extremely easily. Like if I watch the news, that's it. If I see someone hit a squirrel, like I'm done for the day. So I need something that's tangible, that's not emotional, a schedule that I can check back into, make myself check into again. So it's not just open and I can just wallow and feel terrible or whatever it is. So having her remind me of that, and then finishing this and then talking about this, I really do want to set this up for myself and see what I think I can do for myself, because I'm not taking one of my medications. It's a newer medication. And it's just taken at night. So I forget a lot of the time because I'm asleep on the couch and I wake up and I'm like, oh crap, I have to go to bed. So I just go to bed. Like, no, I need to stop in the bathroom first, take the medication, and then I can go to bed. But like, I don't always do that. Like I wash my face, I brush my teeth, I floss my teeth, whatever. I do all that stuff before I go back to the couch to read for a while. So if I do fall asleep, and when I do, I can just go to bed and it's fine. Like no need to. So there's stuff I need to do that I'm not doing. And I'm going to really use this, I think, moving forward in the next few weeks. Just need to be done that I'm just spacing on for like really no reason. So yeah, nothing yet, but I will keep you guys posted. So how about you?
Yeah, like I mentioned before, I liked the habit stacking. And I kind of morphed that into my mantra of the work smarter, not harder. Just like not so much getting detailed as he mentioned and what you'll be doing, because I just cannot write down everything I do because it fluctuates way too much day to day. But what I can do is day to day go, I'm going to go do this. On the way I can do this, or while I'm doing that, I can do this. So I feel like I'm accomplishing more than just that one thing, because I always feel like anything that I accomplish in a day, which to another person, they'd be like, that's amazing. But for me, like everything to me just seems so insignificant. Like, oh, I cleaned this. Who cares? But realistically, it is a big deal. It is, I have a lot going on. I'm taking care of 2 children that are on completely separate schedules and making dinner for a family of 5. And, some days my husband works nights and sometimes he works days. So the schedules are different every day. And the capacity I have of help is different every day. So like everything to me, I feel like everything I do is insignificant. Like everything I do is like bogus. And I get that that's a me thing. I get that I do significant things, but I just feel like everything is insignificant. So by me being able to put more on something, it makes me feel like I'm doing more, because it's not just I'm walking into this room. It's I'm carrying garbage in this room, or I'm taking the garbage out, or I washed the garbage can the other day, and I can't tell you how good it made me feel. Like, I don't know why that sounds so stupid coming out of my mouth right now, but it made me feel good for the entire day. Like, I don't know why, but our garbage can, like not the can itself, but like the lid, like the underside of the lid always gets so gross. And I'm telling you, it's because my husband and my stepdaughter just pour the vacuum contents right into the thing. And usually when the trash can is like full, so it all like sticks to the top of the can. It drives me nuts. But alas, anywho, I cleaned it like with soap, boiling water. And here's the thing, like, so you had mentioned earlier something about watching a YouTuber that does like cleaning or whatever. So I've been wallowing all of January. And for those of you who follow me on Spenelli Speaks, you know that I have been absent from my channel, like after doing Vlogmas, and all of a sudden I'm nowhere to be found. It's because I have literally been wallowing all of January because I feel like I can't get anything done and yada yada. But I have got sucked into this vortex of these Facebook reels with this TikToker, which I don't do TikTok, but she has a TikTok channel and she also puts it on Facebook. Her name is Nikki, and she has been cloned a million times on Facebook. So her like official channel on Facebook is called Operation Nikki Official or something like that. So if you want to find her, she's amazing. But she like does all these like cleaning reels and like self-care reels and organizing reels and all these things. Like I could watch her put all of her Costco food in her refrigerator like 20 million times. It's just like click, 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 like this is a drink, like click, click, click. I don't know why, it's crazy. And one of the videos, I watched her mop something by pouring like water from her tea kettle into the whatever she is using. It freaking blew my mind. I was like, wait a minute. Hot water doesn't have to come from the faucet. I'm not kidding you guys. When I fill a like mop bucket or something for cleaning, it's like I go upstairs to the bathtub because that's where the hottest water comes from, and I fill it, and then I lug it downstairs. You guys, I am almost 38 years old, and I was this day old when I was like figured out you could put the water from the frickin' tea kettle in your mop bucket. So I used that to clean out the garbage can, and it like changed my whole life. I've never seen that garbage can cleaner. I was so happy. I can't even tell you guys how excited I was to clean the freaking garbage can. So anywho, I think just doing silly things like that, like just habit stacking, the 2-minute rule I really liked. Just those two things really stuck out to me, and things that I will make notable changes in my life. So I'm sorry, I totally missed a couple of your comments here. Let me come back. Did we read this one? Maybe one good choice time. That beat yourself up. Be hard on your friend. Set a med alarm. That's a good idea.
The thing is, by the time I hit stop, usually I'm on the way to like do whatever it is, and I forget why I'm going someplace. So I just stand there and I do something else instead.
Yeah, setting alarms.
Yeah.
I was thinking about alarms too when I was reading the book, when I was finishing it today, and I was thinking like maybe I should just like set alarms. I'm thinking about how like our reading sprints work or like productivity sprints. I'm thinking, what if I set my alarm on my phone like 3 random times in the day, and when my alarm goes off, I just go and do something for 10 minutes. I stop whatever I'm doing and I just go and do something productive for 10 minutes. So if like I'm watching a show, which I don't watch, I mean, this is my TV time is when the kids are in bed. But you know what I mean? Like, okay, so we're all doing something. I just got to put the kids in a safe place. You know, one goes in their playpen, one goes in their chair, and I just go, maybe I'd turn over the laundry, or maybe I was thinking about that, like, because he says in that section about using technology to help you. I'm like, maybe I should just set alarms and like decide what the increment's going to be. Like maybe 5 minutes, just take 5 minutes out of that moment and just go do something. So I thought of that. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, if it's for somebody else, I'm usually pretty good. It hasn't been true the last year, but yeah, if it's work or whatever, especially when I was in an office, like perfect, no problems, totally fine. My own personal life, if it's just for me, nobody gives a crap. So stuff just doesn't happen. But I need to not do that anymore, you know? So yeah.
I like making schedules. I like writing schedules, making schedules, and then they don't happen because life happens. So I need to figure out need to figure out how to get my type A personality into my life. Because right now, my type A personality does not fit in my life, which stinks because I'm like super type A and like everything is chaos right now. So what I end up doing is like really small lists that I can actually do so that some of my type A is fed every day. So I'll just write up on the board like dishes, laundry, and as long as I did something of that I will cross it off. And then I get a little replenished in my type A. Oh, well, thank you, Andy. That's sweet. Yes. It just blew my mind. I couldn't believe it. It's still clean, by the way. I think I did that 2 days ago, and it's
nice.
I know. Work smarter, not harder. Absolutely. I wonder if you guys ever watched Lauren.
Yeah.
And the books. Yep. Started this new where she uses the cleaning called Sneaky.
Yeah, talk about that. And it was a while ago when she did closet reorganization. Like, was it the fall, summer? I forget which. But she kept mentioning it, and I thought, is that a thing, or I thought she was just saying like jokingly shorthanded something with sweepy, and I was like, I don't know what that is. And then when she kept mentioning it, I was like, oh yeah. And it's like an app that reminds you can assign certain days to things or not. But it'll just sort of throw up however many things a day you want to do, and it'll be random or like set, and you can check it off then.
Yeah, because I've been watching all these reels on Facebook, because the internet is watching you. I keep getting ads for like different kind of like routine, like things like that, so you can check it off. But they're all like you have to pay for these subscriptions, and I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not paying for that.
Yeah, I think Sweepy is
maybe
free.
I'll have to look into that one. Yeah, I'll have to look into that one.
Yeah, I think it's free for a certain, like maybe 20 things you can use, and then if you want to do more than that, you have to pay for it. But
yeah,
I think you said even with paying for it, it was like a couple of pounds. It wasn't bad, But yeah, thanks for reminding me. I forgot about that.
There you go. Do they have a pill sticker?
I have several pill stickers. Yeah.
Yeah, clean sprint, read sprint. Yeah. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. I know sometimes when I'm in those sprints, like other people's sprints, not my own sprints, like I end up reading while they're still talking. And if any of you do that while I'm talking on our sprints, I hope you are reading, because sometimes I talk way too much in our reading sprints. So if you decide like Dani is talking too long, I'm going to start reading, do it. Because I do it on other people's stuff, because sometimes like I'm over the conversation and I'm like, I kind of really want to get back to my book, and I'll just start reading while listening to them chat. But I've never gotten up to do anything. But I usually, if it was during the day and I didn't have kids, maybe. But most of the reading sprints that I watch are at night. So I'm already like laying in bed. I'm like, I'm not about to go and do anything right now. But that's a great idea to flip flop, because I know Krista from Books and Jams. I know when she's in some of our sprints, she'll say something like, oh, I just edited a video in that last sprint, and then she'll go to reading. And then she'll be like, oh, I just did some dishes in that last sprint, and then she'll switch to reading. So she's really good about utilizing her time on sprints. And I know she goes on a lot of different people's sprints because she's awesome and contributes to everybody's channel. But yeah, a little bit at a time.
Andy or anybody else, do you guys watch Dana K. White? She's my favorite person, like for decluttering and stuff on YouTube. I love her so much. Sadly, reading stickers, lots. But Dana K. White is so great. Her stuff is really practical. It's not about making a huge mess. You just do whatever you can. And like for someone with health issues, energy issues, like Andy, you, me, I think a lot of people, her techniques and her stuff totally works. It's great for like ADD, ADHD. Everything is just left a little better. And a lot of it is unemotional decisions. So that's what I need, because I can think of a scenario where I could use almost anything. I could talk myself into keeping everything very easily. So that has been helpful to implement some stuff too. So if you don't know or already watched Dana K. White, I recommend her very, very much. She's great and funny too. Love her.
Any additional thoughts we didn't discuss that you wanted to discuss? Anything that...
Nope. Just sadly slightly annoyed that I liked this as much as I did. Which is dumb, but
I do have something I wrote on the top of my little worksheet here. I said, you can break a bad habit, but you never forget it. He mentions that somewhere in there. You can break a bad habit, but you can never forget it. So it's kind of like it's always there. So you always have the ability to fall back on it. So you kind of have to always work toward breaking habits too, which I thought was interesting, because it would be so easy to just be like, after I'm done eating, to just get up and go and watch TV. Not that that's one of my habits. I'm just making an example. Instead of, if you do that, like, okay, I'm going to take all my stuff to the sink, or I'm going to put all this stuff away. For us, whenever we're done eating, we put all the food away, and then we put all the dishes in the dishwasher. That can be in the dishwasher. But one thing that I wish I would do more of is wash a few dishes, because what I end up doing, so my bad habit, which is probably why there's so many dishes sometimes, is anything that doesn't go in the dishwasher, I just set on the sink, and then I like leave it for the next day. Now I'll soak different things or whatever. But I feel like if I were to at least like do some of the dishes, then it wouldn't be such a big deal the next day. So that's a bad habit I have to break. It's so easy just to set it all in there.
I know.
Yeah, I hate dishes. They're the worst.
They're the worst.
They are the worst. No, looking up Dani. What? I don't get it. Never watched her, but
yeah, really nice. Yep, you're welcome. I hope you find her as helpful as I have. I've been watching her for over a decade easily.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, I think you got it right, though. I didn't want to like it as much as I did because I don't think you ever want to like admit that we need to adjust our habits.
I know. I really thought this was going to be way more like businessy and dude bro writing. I really, really did, because it has that look. Like the cover design just kind of looks like that to me. And because it's been on the bestseller list for so many years, I'm sort of like, I don't want to like this at the same time, like if a book's got a bunch of hype or is really popular, I don't want to read it and I'll let it sit for years and years and years till I have forgotten about it, forgotten a review I read or whatever else, and I can go in kind of blind again. So sort of like, man, I'm not going to like this. And then when I started reading and I was getting it, I was like, oh crap.
Yeah.
Not what I thought, which is fine. I'm glad to be proved wrong in this instance.
Right.
I've
been, in my corporate life, when I used to work at different organizations, and, several times throughout the year, they would have speakers either come in or be televised through, we'd have live, whatever. You'd have a lot of speakers like James Clear that would come in and they would speak 10, 15 minutes and it would be themed around a book they wrote or whatever. And that was my anticipation going in, is this is going to be like one of those corporate things. Like this is what they tell people on how to make better sales calls or how to be better this, better by that. But I feel like this was more applicable to anyone. So someone who is in a high paying corporate position and a stay-at-home mom. Like I feel like was very accessible to whomever, no matter what part of your life you're in or how chaotic your life is or what you're wanting to accomplish. It just felt a lot more doable, no matter what kind of life you live. So, yeah. I don't like the cover though. Like I don't feel like it's too sparkly for me. I just don't think it's the right cover art, but whatever. That's just me. I would recommend the book even though I felt I did not need it. It had good things to say. Yeah. Yeah. I'd recommend it. Actually, I already have recommended it because there was a specific example where he talked about the paper clips for the sales calls that made me think of my last job, which I'm still in contact with the owners of that establishment. And I actually sent it to them and I said, I think you should have your people read this book, specifically chapter 16 about these sales calls things, because it totally would work with what you guys do. So I have already recommended it.
Yeah, I recommended it to two of my friends too. For like both of us, I'm like, oh, what are you reading this month? Oh, I'm Atomic Habits. Oh, I've heard about that. What's that like? Actually, it's pretty good. Like, I can recommend it. Like, oh, really? Tell me more about it. So, yeah.
I also recommended it to my mom too. Well, I didn't realize it was a recommendation until she was just like, oh, send me the information. I really need to read something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
Here you go. Okay. Well, we have taken up an hour and 15 minutes of your time. Really appreciate you being here. If you're watching this in replay, let us know what you thought in the comments. If, again, you want access to this worksheet, feel free to put your email address in the comments, and I will send you the link. I will be doing that for every month moving forward so that you have something tangible if you would like to utilize it for our discussions. You do not have to in order to discuss with us. Again, this is me being type A and having a little control over my life by having a worksheet for the reading. Yeah, so next week, so Tuesday, February 6th is our next live. At 8 p.m., we will be releasing our new products for our Etsy shop, as well as discussing the 3 books that we will be pulling for March.
Mm-hmm.
And we will be pulling middle grade books. So for middle grade March, we will also be doing reading sprints at 8:30 that same night. So the first will be the new products and then the reading sprints thereafter. So next Tuesday, the 6th. I have a small inkling that I forgot something, but I don't think I did.
Nope.
So, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you all for being here and discussing with us. And we look forward to spending some more time with you next week, Tuesday at 8 p.m. Till then, I hope you're reading something great.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.